Welcome. Welcome, everyone. It is Angelo Robles. I hope you're enjoying a awesome latter part of the summer. And if you're watching this live, you know we're heading to the home stretch. We're heading into, here in the US, the unofficial end of summer, the extended Labor Day weekend, and into September next week. I hope, again, you all had just an amazing summer. So I would like to kind of recreate a speech to open my AI Family Office Masterclass back earlier in August and share some thoughts more broadly in terms of with my audience that I think you'll enjoy. Some of what I say will be a little scary, a little bit hitting you with a 10,000-pound hammer, but sometimes we need that. So a little bit of some quick updates, which I'll talk more about at the end. My September forum in New York City, upcoming AI Family Office Masterclass in November, a new Substack account. So look forward to talking a little bit about that. Uh, yes, some of you asked for my last live. Did I watch that last episode of Squid Games? I did, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Some further thoughts on that, but perhaps we'll save that to the end or another time. We all have a busy schedule. So, on that note, without further ado, shall we begin? So, I called this the Great Acceleration. And what I told people, even at the masterclass, is I'm not here to coddle them. I'm not here to ease them into comfortable conversations about incremental change or study whatever 6% annual returns. I'm here to tell them from my perspective, right or wrong, the raw, unfiltered truth about what's happening to our world, our economy, and really your wealth, whether I stated they were ready to hear it or not. We are living through the greatest acceleration in human history. And most people, and certainly including most family offices, finance, and professionals in general, that I find frustrating, that I mentioned at my masterclass, they're sleepwalking through it. I think it's feeling to me like somewhat of a 36-month revolution. Think about it. Less than 3 years ago, let me emphasize that again. Less than 3 years ago, on November 30th of 2022 to be exact, OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public less than 3 years ago. What has happened since isn't just technological progress. It's not another dot-com boom. It's really not even just part of the next investment cycle. It's a complete rewiring of reality. We'll get to some of that as we know it. Think of it. Every assumption you have about business, every framework you use for investing, every strategy that you've built for wealth preservation is about to be stress tested in ways that would have been pure science fiction. Let's go with that. What? Under 3 years ago. So think again about that timeline. In the span of time, it takes most of your portfolio companies to complete a single product developmental cycle. We've witnessed the emergence, the long awaited and somewhat forgotten about, of artificial general intelligence. Your children's children will read about these 36 months, at least I believe, in the history books. The question is, will they read about you as someone who recognized this moment, or someone like the majority of you, even those already successful, but ego, ignorance, and fear get in the way, who effectively missed it entirely? The brutal reality, like it or not, and I'm not saying that I always do, is all roads lead through AI. Let's be crystal clear about something. And I need you to really absorb this because I'm going to say it again and then talk about some context behind it. So, again, all roads lead through AI. It's not a sector you can choose to allocate to or ignore. It's not a trend you could ride out or simply wait. It's not a bubble. Oh, parts of it from an investing perspective, short term could be. A bubble that what burst and return us to normal, that's gone. AI is becoming, as I noted, the control layer for everything that matters in a modern civilization. So think about what that really means. Every decision, every transaction, every optimization, every competitive advantage, every source of alpha, every inefficiency, I guess I could say, in every market. As an investor with fiduciary responsibility for generational wealth, I cannot see sustainable value creation really consistently outside of AI and its foundational layers. So think lately, as we probably go more into the hardware of it, the chips that power it, the energy for sure that feeds it, and the infrastructure that connects it. Yeah, the applications that deploy it, the data that trains it. So there's various layers to the world of AI, energy, commodities, and really, as I spoke about a couple of days ago, how this ties in even broadly to crypto and tokenization. And trust me, it will. Watch that from 2 days ago. Underrated program that I hosted then. Unless you control an incredible niche that somehow remains AI proof, I mean, I guess they're out there somewhere, but I challenge you to name one that will last, what, 5 years from now? 10? You're betting against the single most powerful force reshaping human civilization. There is something that I call the great obsolescence. Let's talk about what it means for your existing portfolios. The moats that many of you spent, what, decades building, are, are they about to be eliminated? The competitive advantages your portfolio companies rely on, gone. Traditional investment thesis frameworks that made you wealthy, can I argue, obsolete? I sat in boardrooms where management teams proudly present their AI strategy. Usually, in some of the MFOs and commercial providers want some chatbot on their website or machine learning optimization within their supply chain. Well, I mean, I guess it's a start, but that's like bringing a calculator to a nuclear physics exam. While they're implementing chatbots, their competitors are rebuilding. And this does apply to family offices, including single and their operating companies and the entity itself. They're rebuilding entire business models from the ground up with AI first architecture, which I'm doing, I'm seeing being done, and I'm helping to consult and implement. While they're optimizing existing processes, new entrants are creating entirely new categories of value that could make their or the existing industries irrelevant. While they're defending market share, how about if the market itself is simply being redefined? So I'd like for you to think about the new world, AI, from a little bit more of a deeper intellectual perspective than the surface level that you're probably aware of and looking at. And I feel, especially within the family office community, I mean, honestly, other than me, you're just not getting it. So here's what most people won't tell you and why you're here. This isn't crisis. This is the greatest wealth creation opportunity actually in human history. I mean, I could call this the intelligence multiplication revolution. Think about it this way. What's an average IQ? About 100. You can effectively rent Oh, this isn't a perfect analogy, but it gets to the point. You can effectively rent an additional 50 IQ points through what? LLMs and utilization broadly of AI? Now, that may not sound revolutionary to you, but trust me, that is. It's a big difference. But let me explain why it matters, probably even more than you would think on the surface. It's because intelligence has often been the ultimate scarce resource. It determines who builds the companies, who makes the discoveries, and who sees the opportunities others miss. Knowing billionaires, do you think they have average IQ? I'll answer your question. They definitely do not. For the first time in human history, intelligence is becoming, could I go with the word abundant? Now, we may get into human machine interface and how that is changing, and transhumanism. I've had some of those speakers on in the past. Maybe we'll save that for a different time. But kind of really, we're just getting started. This capability of AI, really, energy is what may hold it back, could double every 6 months. Some believe faster. Follow that exponential curve compounding at the end of 3 years. That could be what? A 64x improvement. Imagine a human commanding 4,000 IQ points, let's call it that. They would have an insurmountable advantage in any field, any market, and any competition, period. What? Einstein was 160 and a moron's 80? This blows that away. So here's the question that maybe should keep you awake at night in time. As a human, what value do you bring when AI reaches that level of intelligence? 5 years, 10 years from now? More importantly, what value, bringing it back to investing, does your current investment strategy bring? There's something that I guess I would label, and I mentioned this in my open of the masterclass, called a productivity explosion. Let me tell you about productivity multiplication. AI doesn't just make you a little better. It doesn't give you a 10% edge or help you optimize around the margins. It makes everything you do, if you know how to utilize it, better, faster, with precision that was effectively impossible before. So certain things relative to productivity could happen very quickly. 2x, 10x, 20x, across virtually any, and listen up, the keyword, knowledge-based activity. Financial analysis that sometimes takes weeks can sometimes be done in hours. Market research that took teams now simply require the right prompts and what you enter. Due diligence that cost hundreds of thousands can now cost what? Hundreds. Investment thesis development that took months now takes minutes. You don't think that speed, better information to make better decisions, and again, speed is not applicable to investing in many things that we do? You're wrong. So the pace is staggering and it's accelerating. I challenge you, and I want you to think about this seriously. I hinted at it 2 or 3 minutes ago. Name one thing that AI won't do better than humans within the next 10 years. Go ahead, try. Sure, you may say the human connection. I mean, I'm a little bit in the events business myself, and the human connection of intelligence and strategy in what I do. Festivals, experiences, relationships, luxury goods, personal services. Maybe. But then I have an uncomfortable truth, a question for you. What happens when the people who historically paid for those experiences, usually whatever, white collar professionals in finance, legal, and accounting, and others that will be completely upended? What happens for those who historically paid for those personal experiences no longer have the same economic resources because AI has replaced their economic value? So maybe that yoga instructor who's awesome, but her clientele is white collar. What happens when they don't have the resources anymore? That's an uncomfortable conversation for a different time, but it's coming. whether I discuss it here or not. So perhaps even for a single family office executive serving the family, or those in finance or MFOs. And again, as I mentioned in the last two programs, I'm doing more work with multifamily offices. The families you serve today, will they have the same wealth generation capacity in an AI dominated world? Or will entire fortunes be made while old ones fade? May I talk about an approaching singularity? Within the next several years, not decades, years, AI will train itself and grow beyond effectively our comprehension. I mentioned that 4,000 IQ before. Trust me, that's well beyond any human comprehension. We are approaching an era, perhaps 20 years out, where you're going to go to sleep as an investor in a world you understand and wake up 8 hours later and find that perhaps 1,000 years of technological process have occurred overnight. The impact of robotics, 24/7 building, real estate, everything is going to change. What are the constraints to that today? Think a little deeper about this. Don't be surface level. It's energy and labor. But AI will figure out how to make both effectively zero. In case you're wondering, labor, it's going to be effectively robotics. This will lead to potentially incredible prosperity, abundance beyond anything humanity has ever experienced. I don't know if we flourish well under those kind of environments, by the way. We need stressors, but again, another subject for a different time. But if we can have all we want, going back to that question I self asked, what defines value? What creates scarcity? What preserves wealth across generations? And these aren't philosophical questions anymore. They're a business planning imperative. And some of the programs I did this week, I think have been very cutting edge. After Labor Day, when more of you will be around, I'm going to probably repeat them with a little different tone, because I do think, like your favorite TV show, sometimes you need to hear it a couple of different times or watch it or see it. I could say the fundamental questions. Let me share with you the questions that are keeping even the smartest minds in Silicon Valley and really around the world, governments awake at night. Will AI lead nations? Should it? Will we be able to stop it if it decides we shouldn't? In a coming age of abundance, what do you invest in after AI and its layers in Bitcoin and crypto and tokenization? Will real estate prices collapse when energy and labor, think about that, when energy and labor costs approach zero? Does everything ultimately come back to, again, the human experience? Oh, you want to go a little deeper? Will we retreat into virtual worlds, spending 20 hours a day in a metaverse-like environment that feels more real than reality, that allows our dreams to come true? Will man, as I mentioned, people merge with machines, not metaphorically, but literally? I mean, I've asked this question to some deeper thought leaders in my podcast in the past, James Altucher and Adam Robinson and others. Do we even know if we're not already living in a virtual world of simulation? Think about it. God, I would love to have Andrew Huberman on the show. Every experience you've ever had is really ultimately an electric activity in your brain. Every memory, every sensation, every emotion. How would you really know the difference? Could I argue for a great divide? There will be war, not necessarily physical, but ideological, economic warfare between those who embrace AI, and there will absolutely be a percentage, maybe 10 or 20%, that won't and want it to go away and refuse to acquiesce to it and be a part of it. There will be factions. There will be winners and losers on a scale that we've probably never seen. There will be entire industries that will vanish overnight, and there will be new industries worth trillions that emerge from nothing. We'll probably have I think there's trillionaire families now, but a trillionaire entrepreneur evolving somewhere within the next 5 years. Your world will be redefined. Economics as you know it, work as your children understand it, and God forbid, as a cowboy hat wearing American who loves capitalism, But when I mention that energy and labor effectively go to zero, what happens to really capitalism itself? Everything changes forever when AI eliminates scarcity. The question is, what side of this divide will your family be on? I mean, being an amateur historian and philosopher at heart, and I know you just want more surface level quotes and things like that, but these are things I do like to think about and have conversations with collectively one on one and collectively with my members. We'll get to that in a second. An honest truth. I have way more questions than I have answers. And of course, no one can see the future and exactly know how this will turn out. Anyone who told you they have it all figured out is lying. I think I may be directionally correct, but there will be so many twists and turns. But here's what I do know as an absolute certainty: you do need to adapt in this new world and now. No, why are you waiting to the next quarter? When you finish your strategic planning cycle, not next year when you completed your portfolio review, not when you feel ready or the market stabilize. The summer's not over yet. You could still have an edge and still put together the thoughts and actions around collectively a individual like me or a group within my membership organization. This is a chance to connect with the right people, to make extraordinary amounts of money, yes, still possible, and hedge and protect against possible chaos. Learn to use these resources or get left behind. There probably is going to be no middle ground, no safe harbor, and really kind of no wait and see. I know not many people in the family office world have done the volume of kind of solo 30-minute type conversations or presentations that I've been doing in YouTube and LinkedIn. And I enjoy longer form interviews and learning as well. But I've gotten, especially the last 4 to 6 months, to really enjoy these more solo programs. And yes, my AI family office masterclasses aren't about learning a few AI tricks to impress your family at dinner. This isn't about adding new tech allocations to your portfolio. It's deeper. It's not even just staying current with trends. It's about positioning yourself and your family office, your entity, your businesses at the center of the most profound transformation in human history. So yes, in my upcoming November 5th and 6th, that's up on my website, my next AI Family Office Masterclass, you can build a complete automated investment trading system live in real time. You'll probably see us do it using nothing but AI prompts and really what I call natural language commands. And not just me, incredible faculty and AI integration engineers and principles of wealth that are doing it themselves. What I just described as not even needing any coding or no technical team. So this is done in real money with real markets and real results. You'll understand AI, LLMs, you'll build or get to see the value of your own sovereign system that doesn't train the platforms when you enter prompts in now. They're stealing your prompts. They're educating their systems for those that come after you, some of them peers and competitors, to learn off your base of knowledge that you built up over decades. You'll master advanced LLM orchestration across cutting edge models, and some of them more public facing like Rock 4 Heavy, but you'll develop proprietary prompt engineering frameworks that give you and your family, your entities, an advantage that compounds over decades. None of this isn't theory. This isn't academic. Academics are so wickedly overrated. This isn't even just a thought experiment. This is how the future of business gets done. And you could take my hand and join in about how this journey begins now. This could be the beginning of your journey, but you have to take that first step into a world that you'll have an edge that 99% plus of others haven't even imagined yet. A world where intelligence is abundant, where human creativity could be amplified beyond recognition, where the impossible kind of becomes inevitable. So I encourage you to go to my website, my name, angelorobles.com. I encourage you to look into membership and join. Not only do I have an upcoming masterclass, I got a 3-day program with incredible speakers, September 15th through 17th. I have a variety of breakfasts and luncheons. I have proprietary content, one-on-ones that we could do to talk about these things further. So a combination of my membership, look into my AI Family Office Masterclass, all up online, November 5th and 6th in person where you're immersed, and the private consulting I selectively do and want to do more of with the industry and multifamily offices. You actually have the added edge of you're looking for a clientele. And there's certain techniques and strategies using AI that could be incredibly enhanceful. But of course, my core audience for decades has been the families of wealth and the single family offices. My love and my obsession in the community for decades. Beyond that, I did mention when I started, I have to figure out how to change. I haven't touched it in years. My Angelo Robles Substack. So it's wickedly outdated, old pictures from 5 years ago, and one or two mediocrity a post. Unfortunately, it ties into my old email that I no longer have access to, and getting customer service at a lot of these more modern companies these days is frustrating. But I think eventually I'll figure it out. In the meantime, I did start another Substack. It's populated with some free content that I don't put on YouTube or anywhere else. And then, yes, there's a paid model. Some of you have asked, Angelo, I'm not quite a family office. Your master classes and consultative fees are a bit of a premium. You get what you pay for. The Substack premium or subscription level is a way to jump into some more of my proprietary content, private Zooms, and some level of one-on-ones at a pretty cost-effective, I'll put it that way. So one of my business companies is called Billionaire Mastermind, and that's what the new Substack is. If you look up on Substack Billionaire Mastermind, you'll find it that I launched. Again, free content, but for those of you that want more, that really want that edge, there's opportunities to engage with me more from what I'm doing there as well. But I would recommend for those of you that qualify and really want the exponential advantage, you go to angelorobles.com. When you become a member, you jump into the masterclass. And for some of you that want incredible handholding and change everything for you in 90 days, you jump into the consulting. So here we are. I wanted to have an opportunity to share much of my thoughts as we broach the end of the summer. I know some of you are noting that my open there, that I effectively gave a variation of that off the cuff at my masterclass. Parts of it were a little bleak. I just want to be direct and honest with you. We are going to have grave challenges ahead, but there is also opportunity. There's a chance for you to have an impact and make a change in your family, your community, really in everything. But you sitting back and watching it happen is not going to be the way to do that. You have to be actively engaged. Often the difference between success and not is the capability of taking action, often or always with incomplete information. If the complete information is out there and that obvious, then everyone would be doing it, and the volume of people going into it, that's not going to help you. Now is the time. Just think of it. By the end of this year, what an edge you could have. The mindset, the cultural advantages, the early adaption, it's worth its weight in gold. And I go back to who in the family office world is talking about this with some level of intelligence and rigor, with a deeper perspective, more than just allocate to the max 7 or selectively AI or the integration of AI layers. All valuable, but even then you kind of got to know what you're doing. And we have incredible content on that. This is far, far deeper. Building your own AI sovereign program and systems, really learning how to use it, maximize it, understanding the geopolitical and macro implications, the US and China. Just so much. I love it. Doesn't mean you have to. And doesn't mean that I don't wish a world that could be different, more like when I was growing up as a young one in the 1970s. But I also have to face reality. It is what it is. I need to make the best of these opportunities and I need to be proactive. And again, take action, take action, take action. Don't let your ego, your ignorance, and your fear get in the way. All real emotions, I go through them. I understand. And as an executive or someone servicing the wealth or the family office community, I am your friend. I'm the one that could help you understand this, navigate it, use it, and be employable and maximize your own income for probably a decade or more to come. I make no guarantees in about 15 years. Those are subjects: sovereign risk, gold, Bitcoin, investing, a future world. Whew. We touched a little bit on it in my, let's go with the word seculatry today, and much more so in the future and more so for my members and ways to be impactful to it, navigate it, and hedge some of the risk that are likely ahead. So we're midweek now. If you're watching this live, I'm actually off to New York City later today, doing an overnight, heading back relatively early in the morning, and then heading into kind of the extended weekend. I have an idea of a video in what I sometimes call a sequelatory, like I'm doing today, that I may want to pump out on Friday or Saturday. We'll see. And then once after Labor Day here in the US, which is Monday, it feels like we're out of the summer and really heading into the fall, an incredible time of the year. I have a lot of travel. I got my programs I'm hosting. And again, all of you could go to angelorobles.com and learn at least what I put up there, more about it, and become a member and an active participant. You could all reach out to me via email at angelo@angelorobles.com. And a reminder, if you didn't see my past 2 or 3 lives or henceforth recordings since then on my platforms, you could also get my complimentary 133-page ebook that I wrote the latter part of the summer on really AI and family offices and really the top 10 things that you could be doing now in AI. And if I could do it, you could do it. I promise you. And all you have to do is email me, and I'm happy to share that with you. I don't really have any promotions yet, I don't think, on my social medias for it or a link on my website. All things I'll inevitably probably do. My members had first edge to it, and then some of them reached out and wanting clarity, which I'm happy to give them. But all you got to do is email me at angelo@angelorobles.com and have the opportunity to get that 133-page ebook where I kind of give you a lot of the secrets there. But being a part of what I do and the hand-holding you get, I think is worthwhile. So again, there's lots of things, I guess, going on in the family office world this latter part of the summer. And if you like beautiful weather and glitzy people in fancy sports jackets and sipping cocktails and hearing wickedly bad, overrated content, great, enjoy it. I mean, I kind of like a little bit of that myself. But if you want real intellectual rigor, if you want to know where the puck is headed, as Wayne Gretzky said, if you want the unfiltered truth and don't care about political correctness and want to cover geopolitics, macroeconomics, AI, crypto, and the convergence of everything happening around the world and where opportunities lie and where the risks lie, and original content and programming that has very few paid and even then high quality, quote unquote, speaker sponsors, that you want peer to peer. You want open discussions. What was your last investment? Why did you make it? Where did you take money from? Why did you do it? Where do you think that arbitrage is going to be in the investment? What would you do differently now? Real discussions. I'm not saying they're always debates or arguments. They're not. Although we will be having some interesting debates, including about mayoral candidate Mamdani in New York and other topics that others are just too afraid to cover. So if you want the glitz of the Hamptons and places like that and your fancy drinks, I mean, great, go for it. If you want something special if intellectual rigor and content matter to you, making a lot more money, hedging your risk, and a real operator, an investor, an operator and builder of AI from a family office perspective myself, you know where to go. On that note, if I don't see many of you via live between now and the unofficial end of the summer on Monday, I wish you the best and have a wonderful time, yourself, your family, and everyone. I hope the summer was very kind to you. It is still not too late to learn and participate in the things that I do. And really, after Labor Day from September, really through the end of the year, which will wrap up to me a little bit in Miami and around Art Basel, I have a lot going on. So my members are really going to enjoy it and participate. Everyone, you're the best. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful end of the summer. I'm Angelo Robles. I'm out. Thank you.